Our Bengals insider is Mo Egger from ESPN 1530 Cincinnati. Joins us from Cincy to talk about it. Hey, Mo, what's going on, brother? Are you celebrating the Super Bowl already? What are you doing?
Well, we got the defending AFC champs, Rod. We have the defending AAC college football. I watched your show. I had it on. You look like you got the coolest setup ever. I'm off work today. I just got done cutting my grass. I figured I can't be the only person sitting in their basement, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to try to replicate your setup. So here I am in my backyard. We're holding on to the last days of summer. We got a cigar. We got a full cold one, Rod. We're having fun here in Cincinnati.
Wow, you are enjoying your day off to the fullest. And I love the fact that cigar is lit. It is actually lit. Yeah.
It's lit, and in a few hours, I will be too.
Clearly,
I'm doing this on my laptop where it's just told me that it's in danger of overheating. So this could be an adventure.
Oh, I had that happen to me in Edmonton, of all places, a couple of weeks ago. So I might be finishing this myself. Listen, the Bengals preseason. We're going to talk about AFC finishes. 2-1 were the Dolphins, and they're talking about winning the East, being the sneaky surprises in the AFC East. How about the Bengals? How'd they look?
I think if you're a Bengals fan, you and I were together at the Super Bowl, or at least the week leading up to the Super Bowl, and we talked about the offensive line and how if they were going to lose to the Rams, it was probably going to be because the offensive line doomed them, and that's exactly what happened. And so, okay, they walked off the field. We flew back from L.A. thinking, okay, the number one this offseason is going to be to address the offensive line. They've done that. They'll have 4 new starters a week from Sunday. They took a kid from North Dakota State in the 4th round of the draft. He apparently has won a competition to be the starting left guard. But their center, right guard, and right tackle, all new players from other teams, La'el Collins, Ted Karras, and Alex Kappa. And so I think you look at it from that standpoint and go, they're going to be better at protecting Joe Burrow. They've gotten through the preseason so far with no major injuries. The team is largely intact. The only real player of consequence they've lost from last year's team is C.J. Uzomah. I think they've done a good job in replacing him with Hayden Hurst at tight end, who I think from a pass receiver point is going to be able to do a little bit more. And they went really heavy on defense in the draft, and the early returns on Dak Hill, the first-round draft choice from have been really good. So the AFC North is always competitive. AFC, half of the NFL is going to be absolutely loaded. But you've got to consider the Bengals very, very strong contenders to go back to the Super Bowl. It's basically the same team that went last year, except they made their biggest weakness better.
Well, wonderful recap. I'm wondering about Uzomah, though, because just from watching from the outside, you've got a great pulse on, it seems, the locker room in Cincy. He seemed to be a great leader, not to mention how tremendous of a player he is. How big of a loss is that to the locker room and team culture?
Yeah, I think he was really big in what Zach Taylor was trying to do to get the culture to what he wanted it to be. But the reality is all of that now revolves around Joe Burrow. And that isn't to diminish CJ's role. He was here when they were really, really bad. He last year was one of the team's really better field goals because he got injured, suffered an Achilles injury in 2020. And yeah, 49 is nothing to sneeze at. He had some big catches in the postseason. So, yeah, his leadership and sort of intangible qualities are ones that they value. But there's 2 things about that. One, I think they like to make a room independent of C.J. Uzomah. 2, he was going to contract. They're only going to pay so much for what C.J. brought to the table. And I think they viewed him in terms of the production as replacement and the culture where it needs to be. And that 2 things, I think, combine to make CJ somewhat expendable.
Okay, week 1, you got the Steelers in there, and it seems like they don't even know who their starting quarterback's going to be. So are you penciling that in as a dub already, or how do you feel about week 1 against Pittsburgh?
Well, it is the Steelers, and Mike Tomlin's a great coach, and their defense should be really, really good. Now, they went through some injuries this past week in the preseason, how that impacts them in week 1. But look, I mean, the Bengals beat Pittsburgh twice last year. They absolutely blew the brakes off them at what was called Paul Brown Stadium at the time. I don't understand why it wouldn't be Kenny Pickett. If all things are equal, why wouldn't you go with the guy who's got the upside that you chose to invest a first-round pick in? But yeah, the Bengals should win this game. Vegas is telling you they should win this game. They're 7.5-point favorites. That's about what the line should be. They beat this team handily last year. Cincinnati is the defending AFC North and AFC champions. Pittsburgh's coming in. It's going to be absolutely raucous. I don't know anything other than a Bengals win. And if they do lose that game, I think it's problematic because the next one is not going to be easy. You've got to win your home games. You've got to win your games against they're supposed to beat because this team does have a tougher schedule than last year. And so if you have me on the week after the Pittsburgh game and they're 0-1, chances are something has drastically gone wrong.
Okay. Man, it just looks like you're having a great time out there, by the way. And I like to see people having a great time, Mo. So good for you. We are going
what life is
to
all
the
about.
Super Bowl, isn't it? Yes. We only go around
absolutely.
once. So in that vein, are we going to see you at Super Bowl? Because we're going, baby. Are you going no matter what or only if the Bengals are in it?
I'll go no matter what if you take me. Like, do you need an intern? Do you need somebody to, like, lug cables? You need somebody to drive you around Arizona. If the Bengals go, I will be there. There's no getting around that. And if the Bengals go and I am there, two things have to happen. One, you're back on your show. Two, you actually have to sit with me because I waited all week last year in Los Angeles for a phone call and never got it. So, but yes, if the Bengals are there, I will be there. If the Bengals aren't there and you just need a chauffeur or somebody to sort of help be your concierge, I'm your guy. I'll bring the cigars.
Absolutely. Well, DuPont, Moose is the guy to talk to about that, but there's nobody we'd rather have do that than you. And since you're in Cincy, and because Joey Votto is so important to the Reds, there's a little bit of a debate in Canada and in some U.S. circles. Is this guy Cooperstown worthy? Is he headed to the Baseball Hall of Fame when he's done, do you think?
I think so. I think he's going to get in one day. And I think basically because the electorate is starting to evolve, Tim Raines, Montreal Expo great, got in large part because newer voters who weren't voting when he first hit it, I think valued on-base percentage more than older voters did and valued some of the ways that advanced metrics would suggest that Tim Raines Hall of Famer. And so I vote Joey through a similar lens. The counting stats, the compiling stats, the traditional magic numbers aren't there. He doesn't have 500 home runs. He's probably not going to have 3,000, but he's led the league in on-base percentage 7 times. He's been difficult batters to retire. And so I think younger voters are going to value that. I certainly don't think it's going to be a slam dunk, and it wouldn't surprise me if it takes him a few years to get in, but I believe he's a Hall of Famer. I think younger voters tend to think he's a Hall of Famer. I think what has hurt him and what will hurt him is in the later stages of his career when you're looking to sort of pile on numbers. He hasn't been good this year, and he's basically going to miss the last 2 months because of an injury. He had the shortened 2020 season in which he wasn't very good, and so I think that's going to cost him to a degree. Been elite at something that younger voters value, getting on base for a very long time, and the numbers aren't bad either.
Well, I tell you what, my favorite debate in sports, Mo, is the Hall of Fame debate. And I think you answered it very well. It's not a slam dunk. And even in Canada, in his home in Toronto, there's some debate over Joey because he's declined to represent his country in various international competitions, which they're not happy about. So something about Joey Votto, he just always seems to be a controversial character, but we like those.
Answer this for me really quick. Who would be considered the top 5 Canadian-born Major League Baseball players? You got Larry Walker, right?
Ferguson Jenkins.
Who else do we have?
Terry Poole. Justin Morneau. Clark
Poole.
is just
Joey Votto is better than Terry Poole.
He holds a record for the longest errorless streak of innings in Major League Baseball history, I believe. And he's not in the Hall of Fame.
He was a pinch hitter. No. Justin Morneau is very, very good. Joey Votto's top 5 Canadian-born player of all time, right?
Yeah. Yes. He absolutely is.
All right. Very good. All right. I'm glad we're on the same page.
Now you got me thinking. Matt Stairs, not a Hall of Famer.
No, Matt Stairs hit one of the longest home runs I've ever seen in person. But no, not a like Joey's top 5. He might not be in the National Baseball Hall of Fame. I think he will be and should be. But I mean, he's got to be considered an absolute like slam dunk top 5 Canadian-born baseball player of all time. No doubt.
All right, nice way to end it. Again, Mo, enjoy the rest of your day off, brother. Always good.
All right. Oh, thanks. See ya.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for watching the RP Show on YouTube. And don't forget, we're live daily on YouTube from noon to 2 Eastern. If you like what you see, hit subscribe. And if you like the program, check around for other segments of the Rod Pedersen Show here on YouTube.